In the rain-soaked streets of an alien city, Kael Draven found a broken girl who begged him to end her pain. But when he lifted that blanket, he didn't find death. He found a reason to fight again. The rain came down in hard silver sheets, drumming against the steel armor of Kael Draven as he trudged through the lower levels of Nextoria. Neon lights flickered across the slick pavement, smearing violet and cyan reflections over puddles that rippled beneath his boots. The stench of ozone and decay filled the air, the scent of a city that had long since traded its soul for circuitry and greed. "Come on, Argos," Kael muttered. The big earth shepherd padded beside him, his dark fur soaked and clinging to his ribs. Even under the rain, the dog's ears twitched at every echo from the alleys, his nose low, his eyes sharp. Loyal, quiet, and smarter than most of the city's residents, Kael trusted him more than anyone he'd met since leaving Earth behind. They had just come from Vorintol's clinic, a cramped, dimly lit hole where the alien doctor treated creatures from every corner of the galaxy. Kael had stopped by to have Argos's paw checked after the dog stepped on a shard of glass during their last patrol. Vorin had grumbled, patched the animal up, and charged him more than a night's lodging. Typical. Next time, remind me not to walk through the district full of broken dreams and shattered bottles, Kael said under his breath. Argos only snorted softly, shaking water from his fur. The streets were almost empty. Most locals stayed indoors during acid rain season. The downpour could burn skin if you lingered too long, but Kael's armor was sealed, his helmet visor flickering with faint HUD data as he scanned the street ahead. Then Argos stopped. His ears perked. A low growl vibrated from his chest. Kael froze instantly, his hand sliding to the pulse pistol holstered at his hip. "What is it, boy?" Argos took 2 cautious steps forward, his nose twitching, his gaze fixed on a heap of rags and trash near the mouth of an alley, something half buried under a soaked grey blanket. Kael's gut told him it wasn't trash. He approached slowly, each step splashing softly. When he reached it, he heard a faint sound, a voice, fragile and trembling. "Kill me quickly," the voice whispered. "Please, just don't lift the blanket." Kael crouched. The rain hit harder here, bouncing off his armor and the blanket alike. He hesitated, then pulled the edge of the covering back. What he saw made him forget how to breathe. Beneath the soaked fabric lay a woman, all close enough to one. Her skin shimmered faintly under the neon light, a pale blue-gray that seemed to catch and scatter color. Strands of silver hair clung to her face, tangled and dirty. Her eyes, half open, glowed faintly with bioluminescent rings, alien, beautiful, and full of pain. Her body was broken into many places. Even through the tattered blanket, Kael could see twisted limbs and deep bruises. He'd seen battlefield injuries before, but not like this. Whoever had done this hadn't just beaten her, they'd tried to erase her. "What happened to you?" Kael asked quietly. Her cracked lips trembled. "Doesn't matter," she breathed. "Everything's broken inside. Just end it." Argos whined and stepped closer, gently licking her hand. She flinched, then froze, then slowly relaxed. Something in the gesture seemed to pull her back from the edge. Kael exhaled. "Not gonna happen," he said. "You're still breathing. That's enough reason to keep going." "No hospitals," she rasped suddenly, panic flickering in her glowing eyes. "They'll find me." "Not a hospital, please." Kael studied her. She was terrified, not of dying, but of being found. That told him everything he needed to know. He reached down and slid his arms beneath her, lifting carefully. The weight was light, and the sharp angles under the blanket made his stomach tighten. Bones weren't where they should be, she gasped in pain. Kael murmured softly, "Easy, I've got you." As he stood, rain poured harder, tracing rivulets down his armor plates. Argos moved beside him, ever watchful. Kael didn't know who this woman was, but he knew one thing: leaving her here wasn't an option. They made it 2 blocks before trouble came. 3 figures stepped out from the shadows ahead, tall, broad, and wrong. Their leathery grey skin gleamed wet under the neon lights, and each had multiple sets of arms. Kravashian enforcers, Muscle for the city's crime syndicates. That's far enough. Human, the leader growled, his mouth splitting into a sneer full of steel teeth. You're carrying property that doesn't belong to you. Kael stopped, keeping the woman steady in his arms. Argos bristled beside him, a low rumble vibrating in the air. She's not property, Kael said evenly. She's bleeding out. The Kravashi stepped closer, their heavy boots splashing through puddles. The leader's face was covered in ritual scars, the kind that marked long service to one man, Rurik Dane, the local broker of bodies and secrets. The Lorani female belongs to Dane, the alien snarled. He paid good credits for her. He doesn't appreciate losing investments. The woman in Kael's arms trembled. Her voice came barely above a whisper. Please, don't let them take me. Kael met her eyes. Not a chance. Then, to the aliens, tell Dane he should pick his property more carefully. The Kravashi spread out, forming a half circle. Each drew a shock baton, the tips crackling with blue electricity. You've got two choices. Human, the leader hissed. Walk away, or we break you and take her back. Kael crouched, setting the woman gently against a wall. She whimpered, but nodded. Understanding. Argos, Kael said quietly. Guard. The dog stepped forward, teeth bared, eyes locked on the nearest Kravashi. Kael straightened, rolling his shoulders. The servos in his armor whined softly as power surged through the plates. I've got a counteroffer, he said, drawing a collapsible steel baton from his belt. You walk away now, and I don't have to explain to Dane why his muscle came back in pieces. The aliens laughed, a harsh, metallic chorus. 3 of us, 1 of you. Kael smiled thinly. You should have brought 4. They moved in fast, a blur of limbs and sparks. The first swung high. Kael ducked, slammed his baton into the creature's gut, then pivoted, driving his knee into its face. Another lunge from the left. Kael caught the strike on his forearm plate and retaliated with a brutal elbow to the jaw. Bone cracked. Sparks flew as a shock baton hit metal and skittered off harmlessly. The leader came last, striking with precision. Kael parried, but the hit jarred his arm. He gritted his teeth, twisted, and slammed his baton upward into the alien's throat. The Kravashi staggered back, gurgling. When it was over, the 3 bodies lay sprawled across the wet street, twitching. Steam rose from the sizzling puddles where their batons had fallen. Kael stood over them, breath misting in the cold air. He turned back to the woman. She was watching him through half-lidded eyes, afraid, amazed, uncertain. You fought for me, she whispered. No one ever has. Kael knelt beside her. Let's get you somewhere safe before more of Dane's goons show up. She tried to smile, though pain twisted her expression. You don't even know my name. Then tell me, he said as he lifted her again. Serya, she breathed. Serya Venn, he nodded once. Kael Draven, he said. And that's Argos. The dog wagged his tail slightly, standing guard as Kael carried her back into the storm. This wasn't part of any plan. He wasn't supposed to care. But as the neon rain fell around them, Kael knew something had just shifted, something deep and irreversible. And whatever waited ahead, it was no longer just about survival. The neon haze bled into grey dawn by the time Kael Draven reached the edge of the district. His armor's servos whined with every step. His muscles burned from carrying her weight. Serya Venn had fallen silent long ago, her head resting limply against his shoulder. Only the faint rise and fall of her chest told him she was still alive. Almost there, he murmured, more for himself than for her. Argos trotted ahead, ears perked, guiding them through narrow alleys slick with oil and mist. The dog barked once at a flickering sign up ahead, faded text in alien script, told bioveterinary and xenocare nitrogen monoxide questions asked. Kael smirked. Perfect. He kicked the door with his boot. It swung open to a dimly lit lab filled with the smell of disinfectant and wet metal. A tall figure hunched over a holographic table looked up. 4 eyes blinked in rapid sequence. Draven. Vorin Toll rasped, his voice like dry paper. You again. What's broken this time? The dog or your conscience? Neither, Kael said, stepping forward. I need you to save her. He laid Serya gently onto the metal table. Under the harsh blue light, the extent of her injuries became horrifyingly clear. Dislocated joints, deep bruises, lacerations that glowed faintly around the edges, a sign of forced biostimulation, the kind used in alien torture cells. Vorin's inner eyelids flickered. "Lirani," he murmured, "and badly damaged. Where did you find her?" Kael's tone hardened. "You don't need to know. I always need to know. Because if she's property of the Syndicate, you've brought their war into my clinic, again. Then consider it my lucky habit," Kael said. "Can you fix her or not?" The alien doctor stared at him for a long moment, mandibles twitching as if tasting the air. Finally, he exhaled through narrow gills. "Put the dog outside. He makes me nervous." Kael nodded to Argos, who obediently padded to the door and sat guard. When Kael turned back, Vorin was already sliding a tray of alien instruments toward the table. "Her internal structure isn't human," he said, scanning Serya's chest. 2 hearts, collapsed lung, severe spinal damage. Whoever did this wanted to keep her alive, not kill her. That makes it worse. Kael clenched his jaw. "Do what you can." Vorin adjusted the table's field generator. "I always do." The alien's multiple hands moved in eerie precision, guided by faint holographic overlays. Kael stood back, arms folded, his eyes locked on Serya's pale face. Every so often, she gasped or flinched as the doctor worked. Vorin injected nanofibers, resealed tissue, and rebuilt bones with humming surgical drones. After what felt like hours, the procedure ended. Vorin's voice softened, almost with reluctant admiration. "She's stable, for now, but her recovery depends on rest, nutrition, and avoiding whoever wants her back. Do you plan to offer her all 3? Kael looked away. "I'll manage." Vorin hissed. "You barely manage your own life, Draven. You take contracts that kill better men, you sleep in motels built from scrap, and you eat food fit for cargo rats. You can't protect her from what's coming." Kael didn't answer. The doctor sighed, wiping his hands on a sterile cloth. "She can stay here a few hours, but after that, you both leave. I'm not losing another license over your bleeding heart." Kael nodded. "Understood." He pulled a stool beside the table and sat, exhaustion settling in. The clinic hummed quietly, a mix of medical drones and neon bursts from the outside signs. Serya lay still, breathing evenly now. Under the shifting lights, her skin seemed almost luminous again. Vorin disappeared into a back room, muttering something about payment. Kael leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. Argos peeked in through the half-open door, whining softly. "She's safe for now," Kael said. "We all are." When Serya finally stirred, the light in the room had dimmed to the color of dusk. Kael was still sitting there, arm off, a cup of synthetic coffee cooling beside him. Her first words were a whisper. "Where am I?" "Safe," Kael said. For the moment, she turned her head slowly, wincing at the motion. "You should have left me there. Not really my style." A faint, ironic smile touched her lips. "Then you'll die for it." Kael leaned forward. "You want to tell me who's hunting you?" Her gaze drifted toward the ceiling. "You already know the name. Rorik Dane. He runs the trafficking rings through this sector. Smuggles biotech, cybernetic prototypes, and people. I was part of his experiments." Kael frowned. "Experiments?" She hesitated. "I wasn't supposed to exist outside a lab. I escaped before the final integration phase." Dane doesn't like losing merchandise. Kael's mind churned. And what were they integrating? Her eyes locked on his, intense, haunted. Human DNA, Lirani genetics. They were building something that could pass for either a bridge between two species. But it wasn't about peace. It was about control. Kael exhaled slowly. "You were the prototype." "Yes," she whispered. "And if he gets me back, he'll finish what he started." For a long moment, there was only the sound of rain against the clinic windows. Kael rubbed a hand across his face. "You're staying with me until you can move on your own." Serya blinked. "Why?" "Because I don't like slavers," he said simply. "And I don't like seeing someone used as a weapon." She studied him quietly, her eyes tracing the lines of fatigue on his face. "You're different from the others I've met out here." "Not really," he said. "Just as stubborn to die." The door creaked open. Vorintoll stepped back in, his lower eyes narrowing. "You two are trouble wrapped in sentiment," he said. "The Syndicate scanners have already pinged the district. They'll be sweeping this block within the hour. You should leave while you still can." Kael stood, pulling his jacket on over the armor. "Appreciate the warning," Vorin grunted. "And the bill?" Kael tossed him a small data chip. "That should cover it, plus a little for your silence." Vorin caught it, scanned it, and hissed softly. "Always overpaying for your mistakes. Go." Kael helped Serya to her feet. She was weak, unsteady, but alive. Argos nudged her hand gently as if offering reassurance. For the first time, she smiled faintly outside. The rain had stopped, leaving the city gleaming under a sickly green dawn. Kael guided her down a narrow path toward the transit levels, every sense alert. Somewhere above them, a drone buzzed, then veered away. "Where will you take me?" Serya asked. "Somewhere Dane won't think to look." And after that, Kael glanced at her, his eyes hard, but not unkind. "We figure it out one step at a time." The first explosion hit just after sunset. Kael Draven had been finishing a ration meal, lukewarm, barely edible, when Argos growled low in his throat. A second later, the lights flickered. Then came the alarm. Vorintoll burst into the room, mandibles clicking in panic. "They've found us." Motion sensors tripped on every approach vector. At least a dozen hostiles, heavy weapon signatures. Kael was already moving, his armor sealed with a hydraulic hiss as plates locked into place. 12. Sounds like they brought a party. "This is no retrieval squad," Vorin hissed. "This is a purge." Kael turned towards Serya Venn, who sat up on the examination table. She was pale but stronger than she'd been hours ago. "Can she move?" he asked. "Not safely," Vorin replied. "The regeneration compound is still restructuring her nervous system. Any stress could undo." "I'll be fine," Serya interrupted. Her voice carried steel beneath the weakness. "I won't be the reason you die here." Kael met her gaze. There it was again, that quiet resolve that had surprised him from the beginning. "Nobody's dying today," he said, "except maybe Dane's hired guns." He snapped his rifle's power cell into place. Argos growled again, pacing the perimeter of the room. Vorin scrambled toward a wall panel. "I told you both this would happen. But no, nobody ever listens to the six-eyed doctor." He slammed one spindly limb against a hidden switch. The wall slid open, revealing an arsenal that looked wildly out of place in a medical clinic. Pulse rifles, shock pistols, even fragmentation grenades. Kael raised an eyebrow. "For a vet, you're packing some serious hardware." "On this planet," Vorin replied dryly. "Even the pets bite back." Kael loaded up. "Get her to the secure room. I'll buy us time." "What about you?" Serya demanded. "Creating a diversion," he said, giving her a half smile. "You and the doc stay alive." Before she could argue, he leaned in and kissed her. Brief but fierce, charged with everything they didn't have time to say. "For luck," he murmured against her lips. Serya's eyes widened. "Humans and their superstitions. Works often enough," Kael said. Turning away, he took position by the shattered front window as shadows moved through the storm outside. Syndicate mercenaries, a mix of species, armor glinting under the neon rain. They advanced in formation, methodical, professional. Kael waited until they were close enough to see the glow of their visors. Then he opened fire. The first volley tore through the front ranks. The rifle's pulsum drowned in the chaos of explosions and screams. Kael moved like a ghost, firing, ducking, shifting positions before they could triangulate. Years of mercenary work made the rhythm automatic. Strike, vanish, mislead. He tossed a flash charge, dove behind a counter, and came up shooting again. The attackers thought they were facing a full defense team. Not one man and a dog. Argos lunged from the shadows, dragging a wounded merc to the ground. The creature's scream cut short with a metallic crunch. Kael didn't look back. He trusted the dog like he trusted Gravity Dot. Then came a new sound. The crash of reinforced steel tearing apart in the back. Kael spun and cursed. They were breaching the secure wing. He sprinted down the hall, armor servos whining. The reinforced door to the recovery room buckled inward under a massive clawed hand. A draconian, 3 meters of scaled muscle and hatred, stepped through the wreckage, brandishing a humming vibro blade. The mercenary hissed, "The human, Rorik Dane pays double for your head." Kael smirked under his visor. "He'll be disappointed." The draconian swung. The blade scorched through the air, grazing Kael's armor and leaving a glowing ash. Kael countered, driving a knee into the alien's gut. The impact staggered the brute, but didn't drop him. The two clashed again, trading blows that sent medical tables flying. Sparks erupted where the vibro blade met reinforced alloy. The merc pressed forward, his strength overwhelming. He was seconds from cutting Kael in half when Argos lunged, jaws locking onto the alien's arm. The draconian roared, slamming the dog against the wall. But it was enough. Kael drew his sidearm and fired 3 times point blank. The merc collapsed in a heap, smoke curling from his chest. "Good boy," Kael muttered, checking Argos for injury. The dog shook off debris, ready for more. Inside the ruined room, Serya sat upright, eyes wide but unbroken. Vorintal clutched a repurposed medical laser, mandibles twitching. "There are too many," Vorin said. "We must leave now." Kael grabbed his rifle. "Then we leave. My ship," he said, turning to Serya. "It's docked in the commercial district. If we can make it." "Wait." Serya's eyes glazed over, distant. "Something's wrong. These attackers, they're too coordinated." To disciplined 4 Danes thugs, Kael frowned. Meaning Dane isn't just a broker anymore," she said, her voice low. "He's Syndicate now. Full membership. They don't just want me back, Kael. They want to erase everything I know." Kael's stomach sank. The Galactic Syndicate, the kind of organization that owned entire planets through proxies and politicians. "Then we move fast," he said. "We don't survive a second encounter." Vorin twitched his antennae. "My escape tunnel leads to the underlevels. The commercial district connects through there." "Perfect." Kael looked to Serya. "Can you walk?" She stood, trembling but defiant. "The regeneration isn't complete, but I'll manage." He caught her as she faltered, steadying her. Her hand brushed his chest, the touch light but electric. Despite the chaos, a warmth flickered between them, undeniable and dangerous. "Save that for hyperspace," Kael said quietly. "Let's go." They descended into the maintenance tunnels beneath the clinic, the walls trembling with distant impacts. Vorin scuttled ahead. Argos closed behind. The tunnel lights flickered to life, one by one, casting an eerie green glow on their faces. "The commercial district is 2 sectors north," Vorin said, panting. "If we keep low, we might stop." Serya whispered suddenly. They froze, her eyes unfocused again, glowing faintly. "There are 3 ahead, armed with sonic disruptors, waiting in the next corridor." Kael frowned. "How do you—" "I can feel them," she said softly. "Their thoughts, their aggression. It started after the regeneration treatments, like pressure behind my eyes." Vorin's mandibles clicked in fascination. "Fascinating. The compound must have awakened dormant neural pathways. Lorani are rumored to have empathic perception, but I've never, not the time." "Doc," Kael snapped. "You're saying you can sense danger?" "Yes," she said, "and we need to take the left passage." Kael gave her a sharp look. "All right, lead the way." They moved again, following her instincts through the maze-like tunnels. Twice she guided them away from ambushes before they happened. Argos seemed to trust her completely, sticking close to her side. "Your dog is extraordinary," Serya whispered. "Smartest partner I've ever had," Kael replied. "Never argues with me." "Then he's smarter than most humans," she said, a faint smile touching her lips. Kael chuckled under his breath. "You're not wrong." A thunderous explosion shook the tunnel. Dust rained from above, their collapsing access routes. Vorin shouted, "Trying to herd us out." "Then we go faster," Kael said. They ran until the tunnel widened into a derelict transport shaft that opened onto the industrial sector. The air here was thick with smoke and steam, machines belching into the grey sky. Far beyond the rooftops glimmered the lights of the commercial district, and beyond that, the faint beacon of Kael's ship. Serya leaned on him for support, breathing hard. "We have to cross that plaza," she said, pointing ahead. The open ground stretched between factory complexes, 50 meters of empty exposure. Kael studied the terrain through his visor. No cover, no time. "You sense anything?" She closed her eyes. A patrol, 6 ground soldiers, 3 snipers on the roofs. Their commander is North Building, directing them. There's a gap in their movement. 7 seconds. Kael looked impressed. "You're certain?" "Completely." He tightened his grip on his rifle. "Then we move on your mark." Serya took a deep breath. 3, 2, 1, now. They sprinted into the open. Kael's armor clanked against metal grating, pulse rifle ready. The seconds stretched forever. Serya ran beside him, every motion controlled, despite her healing body. Then she shoved him hard. "Sniper!" A plasma bolt scorched the air where Kael's head had been. He rolled, brought his rifle up, and fired at the rooftop she indicated. One clean burst. A cry echoed. "Target down. Keep moving." He yelled. They made the far wall just as alarms erupted across the sector. Kael smashed open a service door, dragging Serya inside as sirens wailed behind them. Inside, rows of cargo containers formed a labyrinth of shadows. Serya leaned against the wall, gasping for breath. Her blue skin flushed darker from exertion, her silver hair sticking to her temples. "You all right?" Kael asked. "I'll live," she said, smiling faintly. "We make a good team," he grinned. "Your intuition, my bad decisions, perfect balance." She laughed softly, and for a moment the world outside, the gunfire, the syndicate, the chaos, didn't exist. Just the two of them, alive against impossible odds. Then her expression darkened. "They're converging on the spaceport. Rurik Dane's there. He's waiting for us." Kael's jaw tightened. "Of course he is. My ship's registered under my name." "Then we'll have to be smarter," she said, her voice steadying. "And faster." Kael nodded. "Then let's finish this." The factory maze opened onto the flood-lit expanse of Nextoria's commercial district. Cargo skiffs screamed overhead. The spaceport's towers burned with neon fire. Kael Draven crouched behind a stack of crates, watching syndicate troops sweep the perimeter with military precision. "They've tightened the net," he muttered. Serya Venn closed her eyes. "That's strange," in a light pulsing faintly beneath her skin. "I can feel them 2 squads east, 1 north, rotating patrols. Their commander's focus is fixed near docking bay 17. She opened her eyes. "That's where he's waiting." "Rurik Dane," Kael said. "The name like a curse." "Your ship's there too," she replied quietly. "He knows you'll come for it." Kael's jaw flexed. "Then we make him regret being right." Vorintal chittered nervously behind them. "Regret? He has a platoon, Draven. You have a rifle and an emotional attachment." Kael smirked. "I've won with worse odds." He turned to Serya. "If we rush the front, we die. We need chaos." He nodded toward a maintenance terminal. "Port security runs through that hub. If I can breach it, I can trigger every alarm in a kilometer radius." "Do it," she said. "I'll cover you." Kael hacked fast, armor interface linking with the ancient terminal. Code scrolled in glowing lines before his visor. "Sloppy encryption," he muttered. "Thank you, Nextoria bureaucracy." He hit execute. All hell erupted. Fire suppression foam burst from ceilings. Docking clamps disengaged. Sirens blared. Cargo drones panicked mid-flight, colliding like metal hornets. Guards scattered, yelling overcoms as automated doors slammed shut across multiple sectors. "Beautiful," Kael said. "Let's move." But Serya froze. Her expression changed, eyes widening, glowing. "Wait. There's a mind colder, darker than the rest. It's him." Kael followed her gaze toward the flickering lights of docking bay 17. "Then that's where this ends." Vorin placed a clawed hand on his arm. "If you intend to fight the Syndicate's core operative, I suggest you take a medic." Kael grinned. "Appreciate the offer, Doc, but someone's got to get Argos off-world if we don't make it." Vorin's mandibles clicked once, a gesture of grim respect. "Try not to prove me right about your mortality." Kael touched Serya's shoulder. "Stay close," she nodded. "Always. The vast hangar was bathed in sterile white light. 2 ships rested there, Kael's battered Pathfinder, and beside it, a sleek obsidian craft bearing the Syndicate crest. Between them stood Rorik Dane, tall, immaculate, his skin corpse pale under the lights, black eyes glinting like polished stone. Around him, 4 armored bodyguards waited in perfect stillness, weapons humming with charge. When Serya stepped into view, Dane smiled thinly. "The lost prototype returns. I expected more damage. Your men were thorough," she replied coldly. "And yet you live. Credit to my investment." He circled her like a predator. "I hear you've developed enhancements since your escape. Abilities that make you even more valuable." Kael's voice cut across the echoing hangar. "She's not for sale." Dane's smile didn't falter. "Ah, the human stray." He turned slowly, meeting Kael's aim with unblinking calm. "You've been quite the inconvenience, but killing you outright seems wasteful. Perhaps I'll dissect you instead." "Curiosity demands it." "Funny," Kael said. "I was about to say the same thing." In one motion, he fired. The first guard dropped before anyone processed the sound. The second spun, returning fire, but Serya was already moving. Her precognition guided her through the crossfire with impossible grace. She ducked, spun, disarmed the guard, and slammed him into the deck. The others broke formation, exchanging blistering plasma bolts with Kael's cover position. Sparks showered from metal pillars. Dane didn't flinch. He simply raised a sleek pistol and aimed at Serya. "Enough." Kael stepped from behind the crate, rifle trained squarely on him. "Drop it." "You won't shoot," Dane said mildly. "My neural implant monitors my vitals. If I die, it transmits your identities to every Syndicate node in 3 sectors along with a rather generous bounty." Kael's finger tightened on the trigger. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Dane tilted his head. "Your species is always predictable, moral, sentimental. You care too much." Serya's eyes narrowed. "He's telling the truth. I can feel the signal broadcasting constantly." Kael cursed under his breath. Dane's smile returned. "Surrender her, and I might let you live long enough to regret it." "Tempting," Kael said. "But I have a better idea." He shifted aim past Dane and shot the control console of the Syndicate ship. The hatch slammed shut, sealing with a hiss. Dane's composure cracked for the first time. "What have you done?" "Cut off your escape," Kael said. "Now it's just us." The remaining guard lunged. Serya met him head-on, driving a precise strike into the nerve cluster beneath his armor. He collapsed, spasming. Dane snarled and fired his bolt seared across Kael's shoulder, spinning him back. Pain lanced through him, but he stayed upright, eyes locked on the crime lord. "You can't win," Dane hissed. "Maybe not," Kael said, raising his pistol again. "But I can ruin you." Minutes later, Dane sat restrained in his own command chair aboard the obsidian ship, wrists bound in magnetic cuffs. His expression had curdled from arrogance to fury. Kael stood over him, while data streamed into a portable drive. "Your database," he said. "Every Syndicate route, every client, every bribe. Enough evidence to burn your empire from the inside." "You think exposing me will matter?" Dane spat. "The Syndicate is the law in half this galaxy." Serya operated the terminal beside him, voice calm and precise. "Not when every government and media channel receives this data." Simultaneously, she pressed transmit. Cascade of confirmation lights flared across the console. "It's done," she whispered. Dane laughed softly, hollow. "You've doomed yourselves. They'll hunt you both forever." Kael produced a small silver device and activated it. A faint pulse hummed through the cabin. Dane's eyes rolled back as he slumped unconscious. "Neural disruptor," Kael said. 6-hour nap, long enough for local security to pick him up. Serya exhaled shakily. "Let's leave before his allies realize the signal's gone quiet." They sprinted back through the docking bay, Argos and Vorin Toll emerging from cover near the maintenance corridor. "Your plan worked," Vorin chittered, disbelief coloring his tone. "The Syndicate's network is collapsing already. You've become infamous, famous. Infamous depends who's telling the story," Kael said. "Now let's get off this rock." Moments later, the Pathfinder roared skyward, engines cutting trails of light through the smog. Silence filled the cockpit as the planet shrank behind them. Communications bursts pinged across the console, dozens of channels reporting the Syndicate leak. Warrants issued, worlds rising in protest. "It's spreading," Serya said, or in her voice, "Everything we sent, it's everywhere." Kael leaned back, weary but satisfied. "Then we did it." She turned toward him, her expression softening. "We did it," She reached out, fingers brushing his hand. "You could have walked away when you found me under that blanket." "I've walked away from too many things," he said quietly. "Not this time." Her blue skin shimmered under the starlight. "You saved me, Kael Draven." He met her gaze. "You saved me first." They lingered there, the hum of the ship wrapping them in fragile peace. Argos padded in, curling up at their feet with a contented sigh. Serya smiled. "He approved of me from the start." "He's a good judge of character," Kael replied, drawing her closer. Through the viewport, stars stretched into radiant lines as the Pathfinder jumped to hyperspace, leaving Nextoria and its darkness far behind. "What happens now?" she whispered. Kael thought for a long moment, then smiled. The Pathfinder could use a navigator, someone with intuition that outpaces scanners. Her eyes brightened, cheeks deepening to a soft indigo blush. "Are you offering me a job, Captain Draven?" "I'm offering you a home," he said. Serya's answer came not in words, but in the way she leaned into him. Her heart beat steady against his armor. Beyond the glass, the galaxy opened before them, uncharted. Dangerous, beautiful, together, they faced it.